Yeah, nah, nah, nah.
Hello everyone and welcome back to another Backlot Banter movie review. My name is Tucker Hazel and I am joined by my Nope Fiend, Tanner Dykstra, and today we are here to talk about Jordan Peele's next movie, Nope. We've just come out of the theaters, we have seen it, and we're here to give you our thoughts. But if you want to talk to us about this movie, any of the other movies this summer, anything coming up, anything you've watched, you can join our Discord. That link is at the top of the description. And while you're down there, you can subscribe to our channel. We've got movie reviews coming out basically every single week, probably most of the time, multiple times a week. And also, you can like this video, you can ring the bell to know when those reviews are coming up, and leave a comment, because we want to know what you think about our thoughts on this review. If you agree, if you disagree, whatever. But Tanner, boy, we're both big Get Out fans. We're both fans of Us, and Nope gives us a trilogy from Jordan Peele. Off the box, off the cuff, what are your thoughts about Nope?
Nope proves that no one can do it like Jordan Peele. No one is doing it like Jordan Peele. It is another slam dunk home run touchdown of a film. It is certainly larger scale than his previous work. Tackling ideas of like the aliens and extraterrestrials and things of that nature, but just on like a location scale and just building tension as well. This takes that Jordan Peele brand of like horror action into the action realm. I would say even I wouldn't count his previous films as action films, whereas I would count this film as an action film, a sci-fi film, a thriller. He does it all. It's fantastic. Absolutely.
Yeah, no, I like this film a lot. I think that the best thing that I can say about it is that Jordan Peele, with this film, has created his own set of iconography. You're talking about the shots from the trailer showing those pennants hanging from the cloud. You're talking about clouds in general, the wavy balloon men that you see in front of car washes.
Tucker, please. Wacky waving inflatable iron tube men.
Oh, my bad. Use a scientific Latin name.
Yes.
But in terms of all these things down the list of iconography of this film, we're never going to look at those the same again, because this film was so impactful and utilizes all of that so well. It feels so coherent in its design, and everything feels intentionally included, which ties together into the plot of this film, where everything feels like there's a setup and a payoff. And I really loved the characters, as we'll get into, and the performances. But I will say that I felt something a little bit lacking in terms of maybe twists for this story, because I'm a big fan of Get Out. I still think that is the high bar for his creativity and his writing. The characters here aren't as complex, and there's not as huge of a twist. But I also don't think that's necessarily required. I was waiting for that because I knew he could do it with Get Out, and maybe that's why I was a little bit let down on that front. But what's here is pulling inspiration from horror movies with its sound design, from Jaws with its building of tension, and Jordan Peele's horror comedy action tone works perfectly here.
Absolutely. I think, Tucker, you mentioned the cast. Obviously, Jordan Peele is a big presence in this movie. This is a Jordan Peele movie, just as much as any of the other ones. But obviously, Keke Palmer, Daniel Kaluuya, Stephen Yeun, Brandon Perea, I believe is how you pronounce his name. I don't know if I've ever seen him in a movie before, but they are all fantastic. You have even a bit player, Michael Wincott, is fantastic in this. They're all hitting it out of the park in this. And you're right that there isn't a big twist or anything like that. There is a twist, I would say, but we won't talk about that right now. But there is not a
spoiler section.
Yeah, there's not a big, huge thing. This tells me exactly what Jordan Peele is saying, like with the body switching and Get Out, or the
doppelgangers,
the doppelgangers in Us. There's not something of that level, but I think the twist still works absolutely. That we do get, and he switches maybe that out for just pure thrill in this movie. It is leading up to this movie. He said, "I made Nope, and I waited for it. Coming back to theaters. I wanted to create something with spectacle, and boy, howdy, does this movie have spectacle."
No, it absolutely does, and I think that the way that it uses spectacle through mostly the cinematography is maybe what this film is going to be best remembered for, in terms of scope of shots, but also using a lot of nighttime cinematography, allowing the actors to sort of blend into the background as there's something stalking them from behind, and I think that that cinematography and in using this wide open California landscape to its most potential. I think is very unique for the horror film tone this is going for. A lot of it takes place not only during nighttime, as I was saying, great nighttime shots, but a lot of just full on daytime out in the desert horror movie things, which you never really see.
Right.
And I think that's a really interesting combination that he's chosen.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the wide open spaces of the California desert that he uses here, and also the sky. The sky is an ominous presence in Nope. It is incredible what Jordan Peele makes you. He makes you fear every time a character like starts. The camera looks up as the character starts panning up.
Yeah.
He makes you the dread build up inside you. Your heart starts pumping. It's like, is it good? Is the fucking flying saucer gonna be up there? What the fuck's gonna be up there? What are they gonna see? Is it behind him? Is it gonna be zooming behind a cloud? Where is it? It's fantastic at building dread. The sky is a bit of the imagery that you were talking about here. That he's building. That it's something that you'll always ring in the back of your mind when you look up at the clouds now.
Exactly. No, and I think that is the inspiration being drawn from Jaws, because the way that Jaws uses the ocean and the fact that the shark could jump out of the water at a moment's notice, that this film absolutely does the same with the sky, and using imagery of people looking up combined with the cameras looking up, and that plays into some of the theming as we'll talk about later. All of those work together very well to have the sky feel like a presence, and not the fact that there's just something hiding in the sky, but that the sky itself could be what attacks you. And I think that that's a very interesting play on horror movies, which we're so used to being more grounded in terms of a killer with a knife or an alien or something that's low down or hiding in the shadows. But the sky is something you cannot escape from. Whether you're unless you're underground, the sky is right there, literally 24/7. It is impossible to get away from it, and that's a great concept to sort of lean into.
Yeah. The sound is also fantastic in this.
Oh my god, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we saw this in a big theater with like the 4D sound or whatever you ever want to call it. But yeah, the shaking and like the sounds when the flying saucer is like over the house or zooming around or something like that, or it's chasing someone like you see in the trailer. It is fantastic. It is coming from all the areas. It is booming and then it shrinks to like a faint whisper and then it comes back. It is fantastic. So great on all the technical aspects as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything else you want to say before we switch to spoilers?
Not the top of my mind. No, I suppose we should probably give it a score before we go into spoilers. I'm gonna give it a 9.7. I'm coming off really hot out of Nope.
For me, I'm just gonna knock it down 1 point for me. I'm gonna go with an 8.7. I think this is a great movie. I think I'm gonna appreciate it a lot more on rewatches. I think it has a lot to say in terms of industries, and it sort of talks a little bit about film history, and the imagery and characters are tied into all these things. So I do think that I'll get a lot more out of it, as I rewatch it over the years. And I also do think that it's a movie that takes its time to build. I think that I really wasn't feeling a lot of its spectacle and potential until we got to that third act climax, and that really bumped it up for me. So coming out of the theater, very hot on it, and I'm absolutely excited to watch it again. But we've got spoilers to talk about, so this is your warning.
Yes.
Get the hell out of here. We
Get the hell out of here and go watch Nope in the theater.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Go be a Nope fiend.
Okay. Spoilers time. So I'm just gonna say it right now. The twist that we were talking about earlier is, of course, that the alien is a living creature. The saucer itself sort of transforms into I don't even know how to describe this thing. It is indescribable, and that is what's so cool about it. The insane design that it finally unfurls into in those final minutes is... I described it as being akin to like a biblically accurate angel is what it sort of looks like, and maybe that's what Jordan Peele is going for. I'm sure, I'm inclined to say that nothing in this film was an accident. That's how much faith I have in Jordan Peele.
Yeah, I think that concept is what makes this film something more than. It's not just an alien invasion, it's the idea of this singular alien being territorial, stalking the people and having its own set of rules, as Daniel Kaluuya's character OJ sort of explains. Like, you're not supposed to look it in the eye. It has a de-electrifying force field around it, which they use to their potential in a really interesting way in that final act. And also the fact that it can't digest metal, so it's always pooping out like quarters and keys and
Yes.
wheelchairs and stuff like that. And each of these rules make this presence feel super unique. We're getting this horror alien movie in the sky, but then we don't really know exactly what it is until it's revealed, and then it becomes this sort of playing with a predator and sort of trying to trick the alien into being taken a picture of. And that also plays into this theme, as I certainly want to talk about what people will do to risk themselves for the money shot,
Yes.
for the cyclical nature of filming disasters and things that are harming people and making money off of that. There's this commentary that's sort of just below the surface, and it's not really leaned into all the way because we're more focused on the spectacle and the action and the horror, but I do like all of those themes.
Obviously, this movie is full of thrills, it's full of tension, and you feel that throughout. But the one that really got me, the scene that really got me, is this. It's a sort of like side story that they have going on in these flashbacks to the good old year of 1998, on the set
yes.
of whatever
Remember.
whatever the monkey show was, with Gordy the chimpanzee, and of course we're in the spoiler section, so I will say, we open the film on Gordy murdering the cast of this show. It is nuts, and we cut back to it 2 or 3 more times. And the last time that we come back to it is the extended scene where we see young Stephen Yun sort of sitting there, and Gordy comes up and approaches him, and this whole scene you're sort of like sitting in his POV, and that is what got my heart pumping the hardest, is just the sort of the primal thing of like, this is a wild animal who has just murdered 2 people, and he's like sort of lumbering up to this child that you are looking out of the eyes of, and Jordan Peele captures that fear, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, I thought that was okay.
Yeah.
I don't, frankly, I don't really care too much about the whole Gordy subplot.
Yeah.
I think it's actually very weird that the film opens on that, especially considering I didn't feel like it was a great payoff. There is something that I want to look into in terms of how is this maybe connected to some sort of supernatural element. There's this shoe that's standing on end, which is a really interesting piece of imagery. But I can take or leave the Gordy stuff personally.
Yeah.
Though I do think that it plays pretty nicely into Stephen Yeun's character, who I like, in terms of giving him this sort of interesting past about being a child actor and how he's still trying to recapture that with this ranch carnival place that he has.
Yeah, like sideshow sort of thing, where he's again trying to like tame a wild beast, essentially, that that our characters also, that our main characters try to do as well. And Tucker, I think there is a lot of interesting themes and stuff here, like you said. I think there's absolutely stuff in here about like the relationship between the viewer and the viewee, essentially.
Sure.
Stephen Yeun refers to the alien as the viewers, literally, which I think is which is pretty on the nose, and what maybe Jordan Peele is hinting at here. There's a lot of scattered things that I'd like to sort of formulate in my mind, but I think there's a lot of things that Jordan Peele is saying here about like spectacle and like you said, recording things that in order to make money off of them, and capturing tragedy into film and video and stuff like that. I think it's really interesting.
Yeah, I think that the themes are an interesting part of this movie, but I think they're maybe where the movie is weakest, because it is trying so many different things, and you got this scattershot ideas of, oh, what's this OJ thing mean? What's this filming thing mean? What's the viewer thing mean? And they don't really cohere into anything.
I would say that they probably do. I think that it is a wide net that eventually all the lines will be drawn between, and it's hard to do that, having seen the movie just an hour ago or so now.
Of course. But I think that the reason that is a little underwhelming to me, and again, that's not the biggest part of the movie to me, is that I feel like the movie does feel so focused otherwise. We barely have any side plots, we barely have any side characters. We're so focused on our core cast of characters and their goal to capture the money shot of an alien, that's why the movie works so well with its momentum. We barely ever step away from that. So I think that having it be focused in this one regard but unfocused in this other regard, I think is a little bit of a doesn't really mesh for me. But we'll see with subsequent viewings and people analyzing this. I'm sure there is stuff to glean from it, but it's not really jumping out to me after our first viewing.
There are bits and pieces that are jumping out, so I hesitate to say it's unfocused because
Yeah.
I don't know what all the bits and pieces are and how they fit together. But I think the real strength of Nope is that it works both ways. It is very clearly a meditation on these things, on viewership, on the gaze and things like that. But I think it's also a thrilling action sci-fi horror movie that has our characters running away from UFOs and trying to capture the money shot and stuff like that, and working with like this eccentric Hollywood cinematographer. And I think it works in both areas, and it coalesces for me into a really, really powerful, really, really entertaining film from Jordan Peele.
There's just nothing like this film because it subverts its own genre tropes. We're talking about daytime shots. We're talking about using the sky. But I mean, just in terms of it being a modern Western, but a horror Western, but with obvious, technological themes.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really interesting mix of so many different ideas. And as I started with iconography, that I really do think this movie will continue to stand out. And I think that Jordan Peele has absolutely knocked it out of the park again. And who the hell knows what we'll do next? He seems like he can just come up with flipping anything.
Yeah.
So that does it for our review here of Nope on Backlot Banter. Thank you very much for joining us, guys. If you want to talk to us about Nope again, you can join our Discord. You can leave a comment. But we will see you guys in the future for many, many more movie reviews.